to be more than we are. It does not matter that we will never reach our ultimate goal. The effort yields its own rewards. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilmember Kaler. I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilmember Herniman. Councilmember Kaler.
Here.
Councilmember Jones.
Here.
Councilmember Reesner.
Here.
Councilmember Snee.
Here.
Councilmember Thacker.
Here.
Councilmember Hayes.
Here.
Let the record show 6 members of council are present this evening. And we do have a petition announcement.
We have petition number 2024-02 by Don Pritt and John Hill to vacate an alley in the first ward of the city of Tiffin, Ohio, being a 16.5-foot wide alley running north-south and east-west between lots 597, east 598 west, and lots 596 to 597 north, and number 15 south, all in Hemmings resurvey. This is St. Clair and Market Streets.
Thank you. This petition request will be assigned to the Street, Sidewalks, and Sewers Committee. Minutes from April 15th, 2024, regular and committee of the whole meetings were distributed. Any questions, corrections, or deletions? Okay, minutes will stand approved as presented. We are now under committee reports. Finance Committee, Councilmember Reesner.
No report, Madam President.
Thank you. Law and Community Planning, Councilmember Kaler.
No report, Madam President.
Okay, thank you. Materials and Equipment, Councilmember Jones.
No report, Madam President.
Thank you. Personnel and Labor Relations, Councilmember Hayes.
No report, Madam President.
Thank you. Recreation and Public Property, Councilmember Snee.
No report at this time, Madam President.
Thank you. Streets, Sidewalks, and Sewers, Councilmember Thacker.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I do have a report. A Street, Sidewalks, and Sewers Committee meeting was held on April 22nd, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. on site at 73 Frost Parkway. Attending were committee members Cheyenne Thacker, Aaron Jones, Scott Horniman, and Kevin Reesner, along with Councilmember John Hayes, Law Director Zach Fowler, Mayor Lee Wilkinson, City Administrator Nick Dutro, City Engineer Matt Watson, and resident Urban Chalk. Thacker called the meeting to order. The purpose of the meeting is to discuss alley vacation petition number 2024-01 by Urban Chalk to vacate an alley in the 2nd Ward and any other business that may come before them. Thacker asked Mr. Schock to inform the committee why he wanted the alley vacated. Mr. Schock plans to put up a fence around his adjacent parcels. Also, he was concerned for the safety of children that ride their bikes down the alley. He gave the attendees the history of his home and a picture of the fence likely to be installed. Thacker read the responses of department heads regarding the potential alley vacation. Watson informed the committee of an existing sewer located in this alley. The alley's location and proximity to the river could potentially provide future benefit to our sewer collection system. Watson's only request was that the city maintain an easement for the operation and maintenance of our existing sewer and ensure that the easement for the construction and future sewers if needed. Reesner motioned to have the law director prepare legislation to vacate the alley. Jones seconded the motion. The motion passed 4-0. With no further business, the committee adjourned at 5:40 p.m.
Thank you. Any questions on that report? Okay, thank you. Economic Development and Downtown Planning. Anyone from this committee have anything to report?
No reports, Madam President.
Thank you. Does anyone see the need to schedule a committee of the whole meeting? Okay, we are now under reports of the officers. His Honor Mayor Lee Wilkinson.
Thank you, Madam President. I do have a couple of proclamations here. We have Ed Schetter from the ABATE program, which is the American Bikers Aim Towards Education, as May is Motorcycle Awareness Month. And I just want to remind you all to be alert and aware of others sharing the road from pedestrians, bicyclists, scooters, and motorcycles. So I would like to present that proclamation. Whereas safety is the highest priority for the highways and streets of our villages, cities, and state. And whereas motorcycle riding is a popular form of transportation and recreation for more than 200,000 people across the state and millions across the nation. And whereas in an effort to make motorcycling in Ohio a safer, more enjoyable sport, motorcycling organizations from around the state are now planning a collective venture to promote motorcycle awareness. And whereas all motorcycle organizations, clubs, dealerships, groups, and highway safety officials in our state should join ABATE of Ohio Incorporated and the Motorcycle Ohio program in actively promoting safe operation, increased rider training, improved licensing efforts, and motorist awareness. And whereas during the month of May, all roadway users should unite in safe sharing of the roadways through the state of Ohio. Therefore, be it resolved, I, Lee W. Wilkinson, Mayor of the City of Tiffin, do hereby proclaim the month of May in the City of Tiffin as Motorcycle Awareness Month and urge all members of our community to join in recognition of this significant occasion and achievement of motorcycle organizations and enthusiasts on the 6th day of May in the year of our Lord, 2024. So I'd like to present this to Ed Schetter, who is with us today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. We will put this with the other ones that we've collected from all over the state of Ohio, which also from this area do include the Seneca County Commissioners, Hancock County Commissioners, the city of Fostoria, the city of Findlay. It's always been great, the community we buy-in we get for events like this. You know, and we just ask people that now that you're gonna see more and more motorcycles on the road, as you've seen our signs around, please look twice, save a life.
Yep.
People need to realize that even with all the safety equipment that comes on cars today with the auto braking and the self-centering and everything else, that the person behind the wheel is still the safest thing, and that needs to be the safest thing in that car. So once again, thank you very much. I think this is the 16th or 17th year in a row that Tiffin has done this, and we are very grateful for it.
Do you know where the next blessing of the bikes is? 'Cause I know it happens like on the weekends throughout May.
Yeah, well, they just had a big one. I think coming up is Teal's Wheels, or Route 30 Harley Davidson
Oh, okay.
is having their blessing of the bikes. It might be next weekend.
Okay.
I'll be on my way. I've got the National Coalition of Motorcyclists convention is out in Kansas City, Missouri, so I will Wednesday be saddling up and heading that way.
Have a safe ride.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
I do have a second proclamation also, as May is the National Historic Preservation Month, and we have some members here of the Tiffin Historic Trust to accept this proclamation. So I'd like to read that next. Whereas historic preservation is inherently economically, environmentally, and socially friendly and socially sustainable, fostering a culture of reuse and maximizing the life cycle of all resources through conservation. And whereas historic preservation is an effective tool for promoting sustainable development, revitalizing neighborhoods, fostering local pride, promoting tourism, and maintaining community character. Whereas historic preservation can be the center of community discussion, uniting residents behind an important cause. Whereas it is important to acknowledge and celebrate the benefit of history, architecture, and archaeology to our lives, and the contributions made by dedicated individuals in helping to preserve the tangible aspects of heritage that has shaped the city. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Lee Wilkinson, Mayor of the City of Tiffin, do hereby proclaim May 2024 in the City of Tiffin as National Historic Preservation Month on this 6th day of May in the year of our Lord, 2024. So if you would like to accept this proclamation, I would be grateful. And if you would like to say a few words also.
Thank you, sir.
I brought along a few, or Mary actually brought along. I think everybody probably knows Mary Lewis. We also have Nancy Rubenstein with us, just part of our group.
And Tim McKee, he did not introduce himself.
I think everybody knows. We are doing a financial tools and incentive workshop with Heritage Ohio coming up on May 20th. So I brought some flyers along with that. I do have a couple of free tickets to that, so if anybody on council's interested or anybody in the city would be interested in attending that.
It's only $10.
Yeah, it is only $10 too. So here's some of that information. And also, just a little bit about the trust itself, for those that don't know. We're here to advance historic preservation. That's ultimately what we do. But we're also kind of evolving into being more of a educational and a collaborative resource. So, sometimes it's not always in the best interest of the community to save a building. Sometimes it might be moving it. Or sometimes, unfortunately, it might be tearing it down. Ultimately, we're hoping to try to preserve as much history as we can. So that's kind of our mission and how it's changing and evolving as time has gone on. So another thing, I know that there's quite a few people in this room that are members of our organization, and I would love to see everybody join. It's $25 a year for the basic membership. But keeps you up to date on what we have going on and our mission. So I'd love to see everybody join and start to get involved with the group.
And there are 6 historic districts in the city of Tiffin.
Yep.
So, sometime if you haven't done it, travel around town, take a look at those lines. Or, I thought that Heidelberg University was one. Heidelberg University, is that part of it?
There's 6 on the city's roster. Because the downtown and Heidelberg are the last 2. Yeah. Always true.
She'll allow it.
Many, many years ago, there was one.
Probably, yeah. Very good. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I'll make these available to any council person who would like to have them, and then we can make copies if we need more.
Amazing.
Okay, I'd also like to say a few words about the events this past week where there was an officer-involved shooting. The outcome of any event like this is heartbreaking for all individuals involved and families affected. I would like to ask at this time that we come together as a community to support those who need help. I'm advocating for mental health resources and community programs that aim to prevent such crises in the future. Please get to know what resources are available. There's ohiospf.org. It's a great resource. There's 988 is a call, text, or chat lifeline. And we need to let the professionals at the Ohio BCI sort out the details of the situation. Let us also all support our police officers, firemen, and all of our first responders who protect and serve our community every day. It's not an easy job. Okay, coming up next, we have an update from Fire Chief Rob Chappell.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Madam President. Tonight's my annual update to City Council to perhaps try and lighten the mood just a little bit for those that have sat through these in the past. This should be my shortest yet. So about 20 minutes is what I'm asking for. So, members of Tiffin City Council, I'm pleased to present with you the synopsis of the happenings within the Tiffin Fire Rescue Division over the past 12 months. To begin my recap, I will discuss what many people ask me about, what our fire department does the most of, which would be emergency incidents that we respond to each year. In 2023, we responded to 3,610 calls for service. This number is actually flat when compared to 2022, but it is worth noting that there has been a 17% increase in emergency responses since 2018. The 3rd Ward continues to lead other areas of the city in number of responses, but for the first time in many years has posted a slight decline in calls for service. The 2nd Ward also marginally declined in call volume for 2023. However, the 1st Ward has shown steady increases over the past 3 years, and the 4th Ward boasted a 19% increase year over year. Of the 3,610 calls, 2,988 of them were EMS incidents, of which 2,309 included transports to the hospitals. While most of our transports are to Tiffin Mercy Hospital, there are times when we will bypass them. Thanks to our equipment, protocols, and training, we are able to diagnose in the field when a patient is having a heart attack. In these cases, we will either contact Lifelight or transport directly to Blanchard Valley Hospital's cath lab. This ability has beyond any doubt saved the lives of numerous patients over the past several years. Through the use of a billing company, ambulance transports generated over $700,000 for the general fund in 2023. Additionally, contracts for EMS services, which we provide in Clinton and the northern portion of Eden Townships, brought in $52,000, while sporting event standby contracts with the 2 universities added nearly $5,000. The remaining 622 incidents required a fire apparatus response. The division responds to a myriad of calls beyond just when a fire happens. In 2023, we responded to many natural gas lines that were struck, carbon monoxide investigations, car accidents, fire alarm system activations, and yes, animal rescues. We still do those. There were 36 actual fires, of which 18 were considered building fires. With 23 of the 32 largest employers in Seneca County being within our fire response area, we have the responsibility to protect the buildings and equipment that provide the livelihoods of so many of our residents. Even the short-term loss of a business creates a ripple effect that would be felt around the county. We must be at our best every single day. Recent fires at the Tiffin University Heminger Center and Tiffin Point Apartments would be 2 examples of significant properties that we assisted with. Within our city limits, we are able to boast an average response time of 4 minutes and 4 seconds from the time of dispatch to arriving at the scene for all incident types, which I will happily put that up against anybody else. Next, I would appreciate talking about the personnel that respond to all of these incidents and do so many other things within our department. Over the past 12 months, we have recognized 13 of our members with Years of Service awards. We appreciate their dedication to our department and the impact they make every day. In June of 2023, we promoted Keith Johnson to lieutenant. Keith has been with the department since 2010, and since becoming lieutenant has been instrumental in helping us develop our tactical EMS program to assist law enforcement. I would next like to recognize 3 of our personnel for completing their paramedic class and passing their National Registry exam. We have firefighter paramedics Lane McNeil, Ben Higgins, and Amos Albright. This is no small task as the training lasts up to 2 years and includes hundreds of hours of clinical time spent learning the skills needed to function as a paramedic. In a stark contrast to previous years, during the past 12 months, only 1 member from the department resigned to go work for another fire department. In 2022, we had 5, and in 2021, we had 4. We also had 1 retirement last year, Captain Matt Palmer, who retired with 32 years of service to this department and our city. Because of these vacancies, we welcome firefighter EMTs John Grieve and Sarah Elliott. The slower attrition not only helps with the morale, but has rejuvenated many of our staff to become more involved within the division. Due to attrition, we have transitioned to a very young department. With that comes new questions and approaches that have helped move us forward. While our retention has improved, we continue working to return the department to its pre-pandemic levels. Currently, we are working to recruit the 2nd of 3 positions lost during COVID and hope to have the position filled later into this summer. As of today, the division has 25 of the 30 authorized number of firefighter EMTs or medics, 6 lieutenants, 3 captains, Deputy Chief Mike Homan, and our administrative assistant that holds most of the keys to it all, Amanda Hannum. While this number of employees may sound like a lot, we are working today with 2 fewer than when I was hired in 2004, even though we now respond on twice as many calls for service every year. Shifting towards different numbers, grant funding is a common method which the division utilizes to counter some of the financial constraints we experience through our regular budget requests. We have pursued local, state, and federal funds to shorten the time horizon for purchases and to minimize its impact on the overall general or capital funds of the city. In the past, we have received funds to purchase a new ladder truck at a cost of $1.1 million, a new ambulance for $250,000, and numerous smaller awards for equipment. Last year, we applied for 9 different grants to fund anything from equipment to personnel. We were awarded nearly $200,000 in grant funds due to these efforts. As more and more fire departments are competing for the same grant dollars, many are turning to professional grant writers, causing the bar to be raised to receive an award. The 2 largest grant programs for fire departments are managed through FEMA. The AFG, which is for equipment, and the SAFER, which is for staffing, each receive approximately $325 to $350 million per year from the federal budget. Through a partnership between Lexipol, which is our policy management system, and 3M Scott, the manufacturer of our SCBAs, the air packs that we wear at fires, we're able to have professional grant writers at no expense to us evaluate this year's AFG application to increase the likelihood of being funded. If awarded, we would receive over $250,000 towards the purchase of SCBA equipment. For this grant cycle, FEMA reports that 7,962 applications were received for a total of $3.72 billion. Again, only $324 million is available. We also recently applied to the SAFER program for 3 firefighter positions. If awarded, this would fully fund those positions for 3 years. In total, the grant would reimburse the city over $979,000 during that time. Personally, the last 3.5 years of serving as fire chief have provided many moments of satisfaction and a few maybe of frustration. The tempered implementation of measures aimed at changing the culture of our department has been perhaps the greatest source of these feelings. We have incorporated an electronic scheduling platform to streamline our payroll process called InTime. This has reduced the time spent compiling stacks of leave and overtime slips into a seamless process. The division was also the pilot program for the city in moving to FirstNet for cellular service. Not only has this network provided cellular access for our operations, it has done so at a cost savings to the department. In a collaboration with the union, we have added or updated 81 departmental policies, which is over half of our policy manual. This effort, in part, has led to the division being recognized with gold status by Lexipol. Some of the department heads and city administrations familiar with my pride behind that. With the help of our company officers and deputy chief, we have also created 24 SOGs, which are standing operating guidelines to guide our daily operations. There's still more to be done to further develop our SOG manual, but we're making progress. We've eliminated a cumbersome employee evaluation process to create a more specific, goal-oriented format. Probationary employees in their first year are to be evaluated quarterly, while all other members are evaluated annually on their hiring anniversary date. It is my hope that the members of the fire department would agree that I am not a micromanager. For our staff, especially the company officers, being empowered to make their own decision based on their own knowledge, skills, and abilities, coupled with the guidance of policy and procedures, means there is no more Monday morning quarterback. This practice has led to better ownership within the fire department and overall better work performance. All of these examples have in some way contributed to a more positive shift in our culture. This effort could not have been successful without the phenomenal people which I am fortunate enough to lead. If you were to ask most of the members of our fire department if we have an employee wellness plan, you may not get an immediate yes. You may even be told, no, I don't think so. It has been my goal these last several years to build a program to assist with the betterment of our firefighters' mental health and overall well-being. We have reintroduced a departmental chaplain and retired Tiffin firefighter George Morgan. George is a man of deep faith who understands the toll this profession can have on a person and their family. Recently, we completed our second year of employee physicals with LifeScan Wellness. This company sends a nurse practitioner, an ultrasound technician, and an exercise physiologist to assess the general health of our staff. Through the process, they are able to look for many forms of cancer and heart issues, which are two of the largest killers of firefighters. Through an investment of nearly $50,000 into workout facilities at our two stations, we were able to provide top-tier equipment for not only our employees, but any city employee wishing to use it. This week, we will be completing scheduled mental health wellness visits with practitioners skilled in working with first responders. All of our personnel will have the opportunity to sit down with a counselor for 1 hour as a part of this program. Where it goes from there is up to them. There's a fading stigma that we are not supposed to talk about the horrors we experience in this line of work, but the fire service has learned what not talking about it can lead to. The rates of alcohol abuse, divorce, and self-harm in this profession is significantly higher than that of the general public. To combat this, the same company providing the wellness visits will soon begin serving as our EAP resource. The mental health needs of first responders are unique, so the counselors we talk with must be also. Currently in Ohio, I am told there are only 8 fully credentialed counselors trained to work with us in fire, EMS, and/or police work. This company has 2 of them. So if one of our people needs help, they are getting it immediately with a phone call. The final part of our wellness program is that of financial health. The employment of a full-time career firefighter usually doesn't go much past 60 years old. We need to plan early for a decreased number of years to save for retirement, covering health care gaps until Medicare is available, and how our pension can be a factor in a retirement plan. Later this summer, we will be having a local financial planner visit the fire station to meet with each of our 3 crews. They will speak in generalities about what a good financial plan should look like and things that we should be considering. Everyone from our newest members to those already planning for retirement should benefit from this. And I am happy to report tonight that yes, we do have a wellness program finally. The Tiffin Fire Rescue Division spends a significant number of hours training each year. Between our robust in-house training and online platform and outside training opportunities, our personnel are some of the most highly trained firefighters and paramedics in the region. In 2023, nearly 750 hours of training events were held. 586 hours was for fire training and 160 hours for EMS. The entire training program is overseen by Deputy Chief Mike Homan, who was promoted to that role in March of 2022. He also performs the majority of instruction for our paramedic refresher program, which is done every other year. This class ensures that every member of our department has more than adequate training hours to recertify with the state for each 3-year cycle. Deputy Chief Holman also manages the fire inspection program for the division. There are nearly 800 commercial properties within the city that our staff inspects annually. The goal of this endeavor is to minimize the likelihood of a fire developing. The fire code exists because a fire, frequently with a loss of life, has happened in the past. We're able to learn from those events and employ methods to mitigate the odds of it happening again. As we explain possible violations to the business representatives, we hope they will apply some of the information when they are in their home, thereby protecting 2 buildings. Completing the initial inspections and any needed re-inspections is a time-consuming process. Our personnel must try to arrive during the business's normal hours and in between our calls for service and not when there's training scheduled. But with 28 of our 36 personnel certified as fire safety inspectors, at least we can somewhat divide up that work. On February 1st, 2024, we held a ribbon cutting to celebrate our 130th anniversary of being a full-time department. The event was very well attended and gave us the opportunity to showcase some of the history our department has amassed over the years, the largest of which is the downtown fire station itself. From the sandstone engravings on the front of the station, to the fire poles in the truck bay everyone wants to slide down, to the bell in the hose tower that sounded the alarm for the Great Tiffin Fire 152 years ago, the station has served our department and community well for the past 85 years. However, we have reached the point where we must consider replacing it. This sentiment is based on facts and not personal beliefs or opinions. The careful evaluation of alternate locations, the impact on response times to emergencies, and determining what will meet the needs of our community far into the future all will factor into any decisions being made. The city has not built a new fire station since Station 2 in 1965. Typically, fire stations are replaced every 50 years. As this process takes shape and moves forward, much more information will be shared with City Council and our citizens, which it will serve. The solar eclipse on April 8th was a very memorable event for those living in or visiting Tiffin and Seneca County. In conjunction with the EMA and numerous agencies from around the county, a year's worth of planning and preparation was exercised on this single day. While the massive population influx that was possible did not materialize, there was still many people outside enjoying everything our city has to offer. The Tiffin Fire Rescue Division was adequately prepared to meet the needs of our citizens and visitors during this event. I would like to publicly thank the Willows of Tiffin for allowing us to stage an ambulance and personnel at their campus that afternoon. With the 3rd Ward making up so much of our call volume, having resources already within that area was an important part of our action plan. On Saturday, May 25th, coming up at 1 o'clock, the Tiffin Fire Rescue Division will be hosting an open house at Station 1 as part of National EMS Week. Those attending will be able to see our ambulances and fire apparatus, ask our staff all kinds of questions, and learn how to provide CPR. We would like to thank Jolly's for their partnership in donating a coupon for a free root beer for those learning CPR that day. We won't tell anybody if you already did know CPR, but we just wanted to get the coupon. I think they're cool. The role of EMS has grown and evolved very much over the last 50 years, and the Tiffin Fire Rescue Division operates near the pinnacle of this field. In summary, Tiffin Fire Rescue continues to meet the needs of our citizens, businesses, and visitors 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. No matter what the emergency may be, we are called upon to find a solution, and we do that very well. Through the accomplishments the division has achieved, we are able to look towards the future and anticipate how we can better meet the needs of tomorrow. Thank you all for your time and attention, and I'll welcome any questions you may have.
I just have a quick question. So I don't remember your numbers exactly in the beginning, but it seems like you guys have quite a few of your calls related to EMS versus fire. Have you guys considered increasing your training then on the EMS side versus, I think you had like 500 plus on the fire?
So twofold answer to that. One, it's important to train on what you do less of because you don't have the repetition and the experiences with that. Secondly, last year was an off year for our paramedic refresher program. So the year before that, we were very heavy on EMS training.
Got it.
and lesser on fire.
Okay.
Last year was our catch-up.
That makes sense.
So
Okay.
it all balances out.
Got it. Anyone else have any questions? Yes.
Is there anything in particular that you point to that has helped with the attrition numbers that you kind of highlighted?
I think we know from past experience when it comes to hiring and attracting people to apply to the department, there is no single better advertisement than the word of mouth of our current employees. And it's taken some time. We've lost some really good people over the years to other departments. But for the people that have stayed with us and we've been able to develop, they're starting to get some roots. And now they're telling other people in the fire service about us. When they go to outside trainings and are interacting with members from other fire departments, the old book on what Tiffin Fire was no longer applies. We had long been considered a very stagnant department that really had no growth prospects, really was falling behind the times, and that's just not us anymore. We have accomplished a lot the last 3 or 4 years, and it's all because of the buy-in from our personnel that are making that happen and possible. Thank you.
Probably also due to the new mayor.
Without a doubt.
Anyway, I do want to say congratulations on the Lexipol Gold rating. That's awesome. And really, thank you for all that you do to keep us safe in the city of Tiffin every day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anything else? And that concludes my report, Madam President.
Well, Mayor, I have to say thank you for your comments on the incident that happened last Friday. Not to bring the mood down again, but it was a horrific event, and I couldn't agree more with everything that you said. So, Clerk of Council, Ann Forrest.
No report, Madam President.
Thank you. Director of Finance, Kathy Kaufman.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to say a few words about a couple of the legislations that we have tonight. Ordinance 2024-31 and 2024-32 are both up for third reading, so you'll be voting for those tonight. And just to refresh your memories, 2024-31 is for some donations that we received for the Park Department that we would like to appropriate into their budget. And then the 2024-32 was requested by Engineer Watson for the household sewer treatment systems project. And this is to make sure that we have enough in the budget for any possible change orders that we might have for the construction contract portion of that project. Does anyone have any questions about that?
I think so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Director of Law, Zach Fowler. Sorry.
No report.
I was going to call you
Madam
Howard again.
President. Yeah, I saw it.
That's a bad habit. Okay, we are now under written communications.
We have Mayor's request for legislation number 24-19, SIDAC contract renewal.
Thank you. Mayor's request for legislation number 24-19 will be assigned to the Law and Community Planning Committee.
Mayor's request for legislation number 24-20, removal of a stoplight.
Mayor's request for legislation number 24-20 will be assigned to the Street, Sidewalks, and Sewers Committee.
And Finance Director's request for legislation number F24-24 to amend the 2024 Budget Ordinance 23-94 to appropriate funds into the prosecutor's budget.
Finance Director's request for legislation number F24-24 is prepared tonight as ordinance 24-37.
And that concludes the written communications.
Thank you. We are now under oral communications. Anyone wishing to address council may step to the podium, sign in, and direct their questions to myself. Okay. All right, seeing none, we are now under motions. Any motions this evening? Okay, we are now under resolutions and ordinances.
Ordinance number 2024-31, introduced by Kevin Reesner. An ordinance amending the 2024 Budget Ordinance 23-94 to appropriate $650 into the park budget.
Thank you. This is the third reading of ordinance 24-31. Councilmember Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for the passage of ordinance 2024-31.
Thank you. There's a motion for passage of ordinance 24-31. Is there a second? Councilmember Jones.
I second the motion.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Councilmember Reesner.
Just a thank you for this donation, and I think I have the name right here, the Lee Ann Martin Parkins family. Thank you for the donation.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, we will now vote on the passage.
Councilmember Kaler.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
And Hayes.
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 24-31 passes with a vote of 6-0.
Ordinance number 2024-32, introduced by Kevin Reesner. An ordinance amending the 2024 Budget Ordinance 23-94 to appropriate $100,000 into the sewer fund budget.
Thank you. This is the third reading of ordinance 24-32. Councilmember Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for the passage of ordinance 2024-32.
Thank you. There is a motion for passage of ordinance 24-32. Is there a second? Councilmember Snee.
Second.
Thank you.
Second that motion, Madam
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll now vote on the passage.
Councilmember Kaler.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
And Hayes.
Yes.
Ordinance 24-32 passes with a vote of 6-0.
Ordinance number 2024-34, introduced by John Hayes, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and/or Tiffin Seneca Economic Partnership to apply to and receive from the Ohio Department of Development, Office of Community Development for a Small Cities Community Development Block Grant for qualifying projects and allowable administrative expenses, authorizing bidding and executing of contracts as needed, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. This is the second reading of ordinance 24-34.
Ordinance number 2024-36, introduced by Kevin Reesner, an ordinance amending the 2024 Budget Ordinance 23-94 to appropriate $8,648 into the police budget and $663 into the park budget.
Thank you. This is the second reading of ordinance 24-36.
Ordinance number 2024-37, introduced by Kevin Reesner, an ordinance amending the 2024 Budget Ordinance 23-94 to appropriate $25,883 into the prosecutor's budget.
Thank you. This is the first reading of ordinance 24-37. Councilmember Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for immediate passage of ordinance 2024-37, suspending City Council's 3-reading rule.
Thank you. There is a motion for suspension of council's 3-reading rule and immediate passage of ordinance 24-37. Is there a second? Councilmember Thacker.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll first vote on the suspension.
Councilmember Kaler.
Abstain?
Jones.
Yes.
Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Abstain.
Thacker.
Yes.
And Hayes.
Yes.
So then that fails then, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so the suspension fails.
I don't think there should be an emergency.
Okay, that was a suspension, but, okay. So suspension fails. So we'll now vote on the passage.
Well, you
Oh.
would, if it, yeah, that
Got it.
must be the first reading.
Got it, sorry. Okay.
Ordinance number 2024-38, introduced by Cheyenne Thacker. An ordinance responding to petition number 2024-01, vacating the alley off of Frost Parkway, running east-west between lots numbers 517, 518, and 519 of Hemmings Resurvey, and lots numbers 533 and 534 of New Fort Ball Addition in the 3rd Ward of the city of Tiffin, Ohio.
Thank you. This is the first reading of ordinance 24-38.
That concludes the legislation.
Thank you. We are now under other business. One announcement will be regarding the public hearing that will take place at the next regular Tiffin City Council meeting, which will be held on May 20th at 7 p.m. And this is regarding ordinance 24-38, which is an alley vacation, request number 24-01. Is there any other business? Yes, Councilmember Thacker.
Yes, I'd like to announce a Streets, Sidewalks, Sewers Committee meeting on Thursday, May 9th at 5:30 p.m. This is on-site. I think it might just be easiest to meet at the corner of St. Clair and Market Street. There's a parking lot there. It's to discuss petition 24-20, petition number 2024-02, and mayor's request for legislation 24-20. And any other business that comes before my committee.
Thank you. Any other business? Councilmember Kaler.
Madam President, I would like to announce that the Law and Community Planning Committee will meet on Monday, May 13th at 5:15 here in council chambers to address mayor's request for legislation number 24-19 and any other business that comes before the committee.
Thank you. Any other business to come before council this evening? City Administrator.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to make the community and council aware. We did announce today that the community bulk pickup is going to be occurring the second week of June. That's June 10th through the 14th. So for residents, you have the opportunity to put out 5 bulk items without paying a separate charge. For those who aren't aware, Rumpke will do bulk pickup at any time. There is a fee associated, but in this particular instance, on your regular trash collection day, you can put out up to 5 items. There are some restrictions. I would suggest everyone check out the website to see what those are. Just as a reminder, they ask that those don't go out any earlier than 18 hours ahead, but as we're well aware, typically you put those out and there may not be 5 items in front of your house by the next morning. So just be aware. Also, I will just remind folks, appliances must be free of CFCs. And also any furniture that you're planning to put out, just make sure it's wrapped up. That way, if it rains the night before, those folks who are picking those up aren't breaking their backs trying to pick up a soaked through couch or mattress. And while I'm mentioning Rumpke, I'll just give a quarterly update now that we've wrapped up the first 3, really 4 months of 2024. Thus far in 2024, Rumpke has collected 1,831.41 tons of municipal solid waste and 312 tons of recyclables. So they're out there, they're picking up, and just wanted to, of course, give you that update. They do give us those every month. So if anyone's ever interested, feel free to contact me, and I can share with you what the situation with the trash is.
Thank you. Anything else to come before council this evening? Okay, seeing none, we can adjourn. Thank you.
Was Cheyenne's meeting on May 9th or 16th?
The 9th, this Thursday.
At 5:30.
Okay.
This Thursday, right?
Got that. Cheyenne, was that 5:30? 5:30?